everyone, my name is Ellie and welcome back to Second Set, where I talk to you guys about my time traveling on the pro tennis tour with my boyfriend and all of the experiences that I have along the way. This is my first official week, or really, I think we're at like 6 days, so not even 100% first official week. And there is so much to tell you guys. Oh my God, I have learned so much about tennis, but also just so much about being in a different country and trying to just figure out things and play a professional sport at the same time. There's so much that we're going to get into today. So a bit of a background story as well. I have been dating my boyfriend James for almost 5 years now. We're at like 4.5. We originally met in college over in America, but then I moved back to Australia and then he's been traveling full time on the tennis tour. So we've been doing almost like 2.5 years of long distance. But as of last week, that has now come to an end because I'm traveling with him full time. So I did quit my previous job to then do more like content creation and other freelance work while I'm traveling with him. So some people think I just completely left my job to travel with him and he's paying for everything, but that is not the case. He's working and I'm working as well. So I'm not just freeloading off of him. I'll get that out of the way. But I did make a whole dedicated video to me quitting my job and the whole experience there. It was an insane story and it took me like 8 months to get everything in order. So definitely check that video out because it gives a lot more context as well to the whole situation. As of recording this video as well, James is ranked number 120 in the world in doubles and then 564 in singles. He's been doing pretty well on his career. He's only been professional for 2.5 years as well. So right when we started long distance, that's when he started his professional journey. So he's been in the futures at the very beginning, earning his first ATP point, and now he's all the way up to literally 120 in the world, which is freaking insane. He also is from New Zealand, so he reps New Zealand, which is freaking awesome. And he's actually playing in Davis Cup in September. So vlogs will be coming out about Davis Cup. I'm super excited to get all the content for that. Oh my God, it's gonna be so good. Already it's been so fun spending every single day with James, just doing little things like, getting breakfast together and supporting him on the court and everything. So it's already been really good to be here, but I did want to talk more about the actual experience of being more on the tour, all of the adventures so far that we've had in China. This week, he is in the Zhangjiagang, I'm totally mispronouncing that tournament in China. It is a challenger level tournament. So the city that we're in now, it's actually really close to Shanghai. It's about like a 2-hour drive. So when I originally flew into Shanghai, James and I met up at the airport. Our flights were about like an hour in between. I've also made a bunch of short form videos on just the experience of like actually flying over and my journey from quitting my corporate job to actually flying over and being courtside with James. So definitely check those out as well. A lot of self promo in this video, sorry. But we arrived at like 8:30 p.m. So we still had to take the 2-hour drive over to Zhangjiagang because we were in Shanghai. So we had to figure out a DD situation. So we're looking super lost and we're just like, where do we go in the airport? It's also, keep in mind, like 35 degrees at night and the humidity is crazy because I came from Melbourne, Australia, where it is absolutely freezing because it's wintertime there. And then coming over to China, my hair just blew up already. It was like so frizzy and everything. The humidity hit me right away. So we're sweating, trying to run around this airport, trying to figure out where we need to go to get a DD, which is like an Uber, in order to get over to Zhangjiagang. And luckily there was an English speaking guy who was like, oh, where are you guys going, mate? Like, I'll help you out. And then he pointed us in the right direction. So we ordered a DD from my phone. Luckily, I had set up all my card information beforehand because there's all these like dedicated apps that you need to use in China. Like there's no Google, there's no Maps, there's none of that stuff. It's all like a native Chinese app. So you have to download all those. It's like WeChat and Alipay. So luckily I had set all that stuff up before because James's card did not work. I don't know how he was going to get a ride if it wasn't for me. So I paid for the whole trip and we took a 2-hour DD over to Zhangjiagang. Our driver did not speak English. Like I think he spoke maybe like 5 words, but I know probably 5 words in Mandarin as well. So in order to actually communicate with him within the DD app, there's like built-in translation. So how we would communicate is that he would send a message in the DD app, it would pop up on my phone and then I would use Google Translate to say back whatever I wanted. So he was asking all these questions about like, oh, how does this work? How does that work? Like, you guys are so tall, like, are you here for something? And James was like, oh, I'm here for tennis. And he's like, oh, I like basketball. It was just a bunch of back and forth stuff. And then we actually had to stop the car to charge it. So when we did that, our driver went and picked up a bunch of like really nice drinks because I mentioned that I liked oranges, so he got me like an orange drink and then a bunch of waters and stuff too. It was just like so nice. And we're like, oh, we'll pay you for it. And he's like, no, don't worry, like it's my treat and stuff like that. So already I was seeing like how nice Chinese people are and just like how thoughtful they are. So it was very, very sweet and like great first impression of China. Then we ended up getting to the hotel pretty late, so we slept in and then woke up the next day. And within this hotel too, there is a buffet breakfast. So we got the freaking best Chinese food for breakfast and I've been eating it every single morning. It's awesome. I get like bok choy and these like bao buns, or they're like pork buns, and like all of this different food. And it's so good. Everything is in Chinese though. So I have to bring my phone and like use the Google Translate app to like take a photo of it and be like, what is this word? So if you're ever going to China or like another Asian speaking country, you can actually download Google Translate to your phone. That way you can translate things even if you don't have service. So honestly huge, because I know service can be like a little bit spotty. James and I ended up getting eSIMs, which have been amazing. But at the same time, like, you know, you just want to play it safe just in case. Then we went to my first practice while on tour and it was so freaking hot. So they were practicing at the middle of the day, which I think it was like 38 degrees, but because of the humidity, it makes it feel so much worse. So going out there and just watching practice, I already was getting heat rashes on my arms, especially because I hadn't been acclimatized at all. Like I was just in Australia, which was freezing. Being a part of the practice and like being able to see like the work that they put in was honestly really cool, because I don't really watch James's practices, obviously. Like when I was living in Australia, all I would watch were his live streams of his games, and he would like send me a selfie like after his practice and stuff. So I didn't really get to know what they were really doing day to day. So the Davis Cup coach from New Zealand is actually over here at the moment helping a couple of the Kiwi guys, because there's like 3 Kiwi guys on this trip, including James. So he's over here kind of helping run the practices and stuff. So what will happen is in the morning, we'll all get breakfast together, and then they're going to decide what time they're going to practice at. It's actually really funny too, because if you don't have a dedicated partner to hit with, because you need to practice and you set up your own practices, they will literally Instagram DM each other to just be like, hey mate, are you free at 2:00 today? You want to practice and stuff. Technically there's 3 different levels to the pro tennis tour. There's the ATP, which is like the top of the top, then there's the challenger, and then there's more like futures underneath that. With James being at the challenger level, almost at the ATP tour, kind of playing in a couple of those, you can kind of see how there's like this big gap of where they get like a ton of support at the ATP, and at Challenger they get like a good amount of support, but not like a crazy amount of support. So literally they're like messaging each other and like figuring out who wants to practice, and like, oh, I want to practice with the lefty guy because I'm about to play a lefty guy in a game. Like there's so much that goes into it, and it's all up to themselves to organize it. James had the one hit with another Kiwi guy, and they literally were like wringing out their shirts with the sweat, and it was just like someone dumped a water bottle on the ground. It's like crazy how much they're sweating, but it also makes sense on how hot it is and how hard they're working too. Another thing too, when you're traveling to different countries, is sometimes you can't drink the water that comes out of the tap. So they've been using bottled water that they provide at the tournament, and the amount of water bottles that everyone goes through is freaking crazy. Our hotel room is just scattered with water bottles. Like literally now I could probably see just 10 empty water bottles just sitting around, and then we have a ton in the recycling bin as well. Like it's an insane amount of water bottles, and the eco-friendly side of me is just like, oh my God, this is so much waste. And like, I have my normal water bottle here with me, but it's like, do I just take the plastic bottle and like pour it into my reusable water bottle? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. So I feel a little bit bad about how many water bottles we're going through, but at the same time, like you need to stay hydrated. You can't be thinking about the waste of it all, even though it's so wasteful. So I'm kind of having a hard time with that. Now, another thing I was quite surprised by is actually how much relaxing they do during the day. So they'll probably practice for like 2 to 3 hours, and that includes like maybe a little workout in the gym or like some stretching as well. The rest of the time, like everyone's just kind of chilling. Everyone pretty much has like a Nintendo Switch. Everyone's like on their phone, just like scrolling through Instagram reels and like TikToks and stuff like that. Because they're working so hard in those practices, you have to have that downtime. So being someone who's like not actually playing or like doing any of their crazy workouts, I'm kind of like, oh my God, we're relaxing so much. Like this does really feel like a holiday. And in my head, I have to be like, no, this is not a holiday. This is real life. I still need to work. I still need to like get all of my work out and, you know, respond to emails and things like that too. So I've been and really trying hard to push myself to be disciplined in order to, stay consistent, be posting on YouTube, be posting on Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff too, on top of my freelance work. So definitely the first couple of days I was struggling trying to figure out the schedule for myself because pretty much every single day it's changing. And two, with the actual game time, it's kind of complicated for when you actually start. So sometimes you'll be first match on, which means that you know that you're going to be playing your match like right at 10 a.m. for example. But if you're like second on or third on, you have to wait for that first match to end. However, with tennis, it could be an hour or it could be like 3 hours. You really don't know. So it can be very complicated on when you actually start. Also, there are rain delays. So if it's raining, you can't play tennis. So because of that, there was a rain delay the other day, which delayed them, I think about like 5 hours. And I was like, oh my God, because I did not bring anything to do. I think I brought just like a book and that was pretty much it. And that got boring after like 3 hours. So I definitely learned my lesson that I need to bring stuff to do. So yesterday, even though there was rain on the forecast, it didn't end up raining, but I brought like my laptop and chargers and like all of these like books and journals and everything. I definitely learned my lesson there. So also they do have dedicated player lounges for the players to go in, relax, hang out in. So you'll see everyone just naturally kind of fit in with their group. Some people are just totally solo and just want to hang out by themselves. Other people will hang out with like their similar country. So like the Japanese guys will hang out together, the Kiwi guys, Australian guys. But it's cool too that everyone just kind of like acknowledges each other. Like even if you just lose to a guy, you'll be in the same shuttle on the way back to the hotel together. So you just kind of have to have this mutual like respect for each other too. I know that's not always the case, but I feel like with the group of guys that are here at this tournament, like everyone's pretty respectful and nice to each other. So far, so good. Another thing that kind of shocked me, and I was not expecting this, was how superstitious tennis players are. I know it's definitely a thing that a lot of people talk about. But for example, since we're more in a foreign country to all the New Zealand players, everyone has been wanting to eat at the exact same restaurant every single night because a lot of the time, if you travel to these new countries, the food can kind of make your stomach upset. And when you're playing your professional sport, you need to make sure that you're feeling well. You don't want to be feeling sick at all. Pretty much we've been eating at a Japanese restaurant. Yeah, I know, a Japanese restaurant in China every single day for lunch and dinner. Breakfast we'll get at the hotel, but lunch and dinner always at this Japanese restaurant. The poor woman that works there is like, sees all of the boys walk in. And she's like, oh God, here I go again. I have to be running around this kitchen because all of them are ordering so much food too. So yeah, it's a bit chaotic. I think I am kind of getting tired of the Japanese food though, because I have been trying like every single thing on the menu. Definitely want to mix it up, but I respect the superstition and I will eat wherever the boys want to eat. So. And back to the different schedules for the games too. James actually had a really late match last night because he ended up getting the lucky loser. So even though he lost the tournament and he's out of the tournament, there was this extra spot that someone pulled out of. So from what I understand, the first person that lost in their previous match then gets to take that spot and they call it the lucky loser. So he was playing in that match and we ended up finishing, I think at like 10:30 at night. So by the time we actually got onto the bus and got back to the hotel, all of the food places were closed. Even McDonald's was closed. So we're just kind of like, shoot, what do we do? Because James definitely needs to eat after like a 3-set match. So we literally had to go to a convenience store and he got like strawberry and chocolate milk because that was like the only thing that they had just to like fuel his body. But yeah, definitely the hardest thing is like you always have to eat your food out. Like you don't really get to go to a grocery store and buy a lot of things. You kind of have to take with what you can get. So strawberry and chocolate milk it was last night. So honestly, the whole experience of China has been really positive. But the one thing that shocked me so much was going to the bathroom at the courts for the first time and opening one of the stalls and seeing one of those squatty potty things where there's just like a hole in the ground and you're just supposed to sit down and squat and pee into this hole. That was crazy to me because I did a little bit of research before coming to China, but it was all a bit chaotic, so I didn't really get to do too much. And coming in and seeing that, just being like, how am I supposed to do that? Because my femurs are really long. So because of that, I have a hard time squatting and like not falling backwards. So I was just like, how am I going to do this and not like pee all over my leg? You know what I mean? So luckily the next stall over actually had a traditional toilet. So thank God for that, because I was like, I don't know how I'm about to do that. And plus I had just done leg day the day before, so my legs were not feeling it. So on the first day, it was actually so hot that I couldn't really walk around much. But later that night, it was about like 32, I think, roughly around like 9 p.m. So I went on a little walk around the area and it was so cool because it was a Saturday night. So like tons of people were out. So there was like this square that was near us. There was a bunch of people doing like couple dancing where it was kind of like ballroom dancing and everyone's like, in couples like paired up and just dancing to this like music that was playing out loud. Then I started walking around more and I saw a bunch of kids learning how to roller skate. There's probably like 200 kids too. It was crazy. And then I walked to this other part of the square and there was someone doing like karaoke just out loud as well, which I was just like, this is so cool. Just like walking around a square and like seeing everyone doing their own little thing. Like, so it was cool to see like the community side of the Chinese culture. And I really, really enjoyed that part of it. So this morning as well, I went on a little bit of a bigger walk, and because I can't actually figure out how to search anything up on any of the apps, it's all just in Chinese. So it's just a bit like too confusing to me. I was trying to find like a good coffee shop because there's one in the hotel, but it's a Starbucks. And I was like, I kind of want to try something else. So I was walking around trying to find a coffee shop. So I'm literally like walking around with my phone, just trying to read these Chinese characters to understand like what kind of shops they were. So there was like a laundromat. There were these other things that I just could not understand. So I was just like, okay, that's probably not coffee. And then I finally walk up to this one place. It was called All Seeing Coffee. And I was like, oh my God, great. I wonder if they have matcha, because I don't really drink coffee, but I do love matcha. I ran up and it looked like they were kind of closed, but I like pushed open the door and they're like, oh, ni hao, like come in. I was like, oh God, like I can't see matcha on this menu, and it was all in the Chinese characters. So I ended up typing it into my translation app saying like, okay, do you have matcha latte? And they're like, yeah, we do. And after they were trying to ask me how much ice I wanted in my drink, so they said like less normal or extra ice. And the only word that I understood was Bing. And I knew this because of John Cena's video where he's like, 我喜欢冰淇淋, which means like I love ice cream. So I understood the ice part of the ice cream. And I was like, wait, ice, like what do they want about the ice? So, and like at that point too, like I couldn't understand what they were saying to me because for some reason like the translation app wasn't working for like their verbal side of things, and I couldn't type it into my Google Translate. So I was kind of like, what are they wanting? And I was like, oh wait, that's how much ice. So I was like, okay, little bit of ice, because I was like, I don't know how to say like a normal amount of ice, to be honest. I was like, I'll just go the least amount of ice. But we figured it out and they gave it all to me. And honestly, the matcha was freaking awesome. Everything also has been like relatively cheap, but that was some more expensive matcha. It was like 33 Chinese yen, I think, which ended up being, I think it's like $7 AUD. So that's kind of normal what I would pay in Australia anyways. Overall though, like first impressions on the tennis tour, everyone's been so nice, so positive. It's been really good. I think I'm trying to figure out my own schedule and seeing what works for me. But overall, I'm really having a good time. So cannot be mad. And I'm trying to think as well, what are some other things that you guys would want to see, like from the tennis tour, what kind of content, any kind of ideas or questions that you might have. So definitely leave those down in the comments, because I obviously have my own perspective from seeing things and like, this is what I think is fun and interesting, but it could be different from what you guys think is fun and interesting. So yeah, definitely let me know down in the comments. Even though this is only my first week on the pro tennis tour, I definitely have a lot more that I want to document and show to you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Much love, and I will see you in the next one.